I'm Adam.
And I'm Rob.
And welcome to episode 45 of the Stream Bucket Podcast.
Yeah, here we are.
We're almost on the magic number.
The big 5-0.
No, a big 5-2.
What's so good about
this? Is supposedly the TV thing. Syndication. If you got 52 episodes or 52 series or whatever, you can be shown every week in a year.
Oh my god.
That's why Red Dwarf had 2 more series after it ended.
Oh, really?
So yes. Fun fact.
Oh wow, so soon someone could start from the start and listen to us once a week and then get
for a whole year.
Oh yeah.
God bless you, future man. We admire your sacrifice.
Thank you, brave fan, for getting through those first testy episodes.
Yes, indeed. How are you, Rob?
My eyes are screaming. I'm in pain. My hay fever has just gone mental.
This is the time we're recording quite late. This is the time it comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah. I went to the shop yesterday and it was like the very rare time of the year where all the blossoms are out and it looks like it's snowing. It's all sunny.
Really? I thought that was before that.
That was yesterday. It was mad. It was so beautiful and nice. And then when I got back, my eyes were screaming. So
I'm looking forward to when the flying ants appear.
So big moment of the year.
It's like an apocalypse.
Yes. Flying ant day.
Big wafts of evil black chitinous monsters flying at you.
Yeah, a big moment of English tradition.
It's wonderful. You get it in your jam and your scones. And you eat them and you devour their energy for the future war.
Yeah. You mean, what are we talking about on the show today?
We've got all sorts of gubbins.
Ooh.
Yes, gubbins.
Gubbins.
A harsh word.
Yeah.
So, last time you chose the word devious.
Yes.
For the film pick.
And the film I picked, it was such an amazing choice that they even said the word devious in the movie.
Yeah, like one of the first lines describing the main character.
Nailed it.
Well, the main antagonist.
The film is Basic Instinct.
Yes, 1992. Paul Verhoeven, Michael Douglas, and Sharon Stone.
We're getting... Hang on a minute. So far on Screen Bucket, we have reviewed Showgirls, Total Recall.
Did we review Showgirls? Did we just watch that and talk about it?
Oh, did we not do a whole review?
I don't think we discussed it properly. No.
Okay, but we you know.
Did we?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
We had we've talked about Bugs relentlessly in terms of Starship Troopers. We haven't actually reviewed it, but
it's come up a lot.
Yeah.
Paul Verhoeven. So yeah, and we've also done Michael Douglas classic film, which was called The Thing with the Man Getting Angry.
Man
Down. No.
Falling Down. Did we review that?
Yeah, we discussed it.
We discussed it. We didn't review it.
Hold on. Yeah, we discussed it as the thing.
It wasn't what? It was our film of the week.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
No, tell you what. Tell a lie. It was Nick. I did it with Nick.
Thank God for that. I thought I was going mental.
Yes.
I keep forgetting things. I forgot a whole thing that we did before. And anyway.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Clearly, Rob listens back to all of the shows.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Basic Instinct. Bit of Fortnight Fortnight. What else are we talking about?
What? Say that again.
Bit of Fortnight Fortnight.
Yeah, which is what?
The news. Oh, well, the big events of the last 2 weeks.
Yes. Got some film reviews coming up, and a game review from Nick, aforementioned Nick, betrayer of Rob, speaker of Falling Down.
Yes. of Holiday Media.
Oh no.
No.
To mean lazy man.
Yeah. I said.
Yeah. Yes. Jumps ahead a bit. We're going to first talk about what we've been watching.
What have we been watching, Adam?
What have I been watching? Oh, we watched Sightseers. I've been on a bit of a Ben Wheatley binge since I watched The Field in England a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you were mad about Ben Wheatley.
Yeah, I've bought loads of his stuff. You still haven't seen Free Fire, have you?
No.
Free Fire you should watch. That's probably the most mainstream of his films.
Okay.
That's IRA fighting mafia. Some sort of crimson film.
My heritage.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very good. It's just an hour and a half, 2 hours of people crawling in the dust, shooting each other. It's very fun. Field in England, obviously reviewed and loved on the last show. But yes, Sightseers, regarded as one of the best British comedies in years.
I mean, It's for a very specific kind of comedy fan.
It's very dark.
It's very dark. It's very like weird. It's very like unsettling sort of humour.
I like it.
Yeah, it was very funny. I mean, especially the guy with the prototype camping instrument.
I think that was Richard Glover playing that part.
Back
Yeah.
on his bike.
Yeah, it's very good. I've still got a Kill List to go, which is supposed to be the best British thriller by Ben Wheatley. So, yeah, it's a little binge, a weekly binge.
Oh, nice.
Yes. But yeah, I've been working on various stuff, so I haven't really watched too much. Clone Wars. I've been watching Clone Wars still.
Oh, yes.
Big
man-child.
Yeah. It's very dark. Actually.
I know, that's what they all say.
It's war. It's lots of war. What have you been watching then?
I have smashed the first 3 films of Hellraiser.
Oh, yeah.
And I've watched them when I was a teenager, ages ago. And Hellraiser, the video case, I always remember seeing it in Blockbuster and Video Empire, used to scare the living daylights out of me. Pinhead was so scary on that case, and because it was the...
I think I remember it.
It was the fear of the unknown. I was like, what is that film about? And it's so horrible. What is he going to do?
Well, I think that's how most horror fans will describe their entry into it, going,
Yeah.
what is it? And then thinking about it. And
Yeah. The first 2 movies are really good, and they work amazingly as a 2-parter. Because, as big fans will know, we parodied Hellraiser 2 in our 31 Days of Horror.
Yes.
Adam,
watchable on YouTube.
Played the nasty psychiatrist man who goes into hell and gets corrupted.
And to think I hesitated.
Monumental scene. And a film that the films they use a lot of epic, classical, almost Indiana Jones style scores. And
Yeah, the music's it's very bizarre.
It's epic.
Yeah, it doesn't match with what your first impression of Hellraiser would be.
Gives a feeling of like awe in terms of you find
Yeah.
hell awesome as opposed to like terrifying. You're awed by this terror thing.
Yeah.
Pinhead was always the centerpiece of like the fans that loved him the most. So the first 2 films work fantastically together. Hellraiser 3, I loved him.
I'm just thinking, that Pinhead is okay. I don't think he was the highlight for me. Then again, I'm thinking back.
He had the most, like, to the extent he had the most lines, but he was...
Yeah, and he had a mystique about it.
He had a mystique because he didn't do much. He turned
exactly.
up.
Yeah.
But then in the third one, they go full Pinhead. He's stuck in like a nasty young club owner buys him from an antique store, stuck in this giant wedge of like clay torture, and then he comes out and starts speaking to him and gets him to take unsuspecting girls back to the room so he can drag them to hell. But he's so in your face, and he doesn't stop talking. He's in every scene, and he's so cheesy and corny, and it sucks. Like,
what year, do we know what year Hellraiser 3 came out?
If I had to hazard a guess, 91. That'd be my guess.
Because I reckon it probably 92.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, did it just suffer from the Freddy Krueger syndrome of just making the main character more and more sort of silly?
Yeah.
But then that was quite a long time after that. So
I'd say so. But I spoke to you after I watched them all, and you said there's another 4 or something.
yeah, let's see how many there are. Because I know they've carried on, and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
10 films, Rob.
What?
There are 10 films. The last one came out in 2018. And I know for a fact, I haven't seen it, but I know for a fact that's not worth watching.
It's a shame. Well, it's the sort of film you'd expect a big studio to pick up for a big reboot, like all the other films.
Well, that's the thing. It's not really been rebooted. It's just carried on.
It's just carried on like a long, wet fart.
Dragged into the dust.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's a shame.
I think 4's supposed to be okay.
Oh, but there he is again.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
Bugger off, Pinhead.
4 is an American science fiction horror film. All the rest are British horror. British-American.
Really? Oh. Oh, well, I guess they've got a lot of British in it. Like the redhead woman is
Clive
British.
Barker's a Scouser.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, good heavens. Good heavens.
So, yes.
Huh. Well, yeah, that's what I have to say about Hellraiser.
Bloody hell, Clive Barker's got a great occupation list on Wikipedia. I want this. This is my dream, to have a long Wikipedia page. Occupation: author, film director, screenwriter, producer, actor, playwright, painter, illustrator, visual artist, game producer, comic writer and comic artist.
What? He's got all of them? Apart from music?
Yeah.
He's got all of them, all of the things.
All the arts. I admire that.
Oh, God. Fair play.
Cool. Right, well, let's get on to a review. Adam's Retro Film Reviews. The Breakfast Club, 1985.
It is now 7:06. You have exactly 8 hours and 54 minutes to ponder the error of your ways. Any questions?
Yeah. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
A brain, a beauty, a jock, a rebel, and a recluse.
Can't believe this is really happening to me.
Before this day is over, they'll break the rules.
Chicks cannot hold their smoke. That's what it is.
Bare their souls.
I'm a nymphomaniac.
Are your parents aware of this?
Take some chances.
Being bad feels pretty good, huh?
And touch each other in a way they never dreamed possible.
Why'd you do that?
Because I knew you wouldn't.
The Breakfast Club. They only met once,
I don't want to be alone anymore.
You don't have to be.
but it changed their lives forever.
Man, I consider you guys my friends.
You may have heard last Saturday that Screen Bucket took part in a tweet-along watch party from Universal hosted by The Nerdist. If you've not done a tweet-along, it is good fun, although only a trained mind can resist the urge to vomit smug bile by the end of it. The film being shared across the globe was the 1985 John Hughes classic, The Breakfast Club. And sod it, there's nothing else out there to review, so let's just roll with it. Written in just 2 days, The Breakfast Club was inspired by John Hughes' own schoolboy memories. Saturday Detention, which is tantamount to child abuse as far as I'm concerned, was nicknamed The Breakfast Club, and sure enough, the film opens on Saturday morning with the club's latest members. First we have the prim and proper Claire Standish, played by Molly Ringwald, the jock Andrew Clark, played by Emilio Estevez, the shy Brian Johnson, played by Anthony Michael Hall, the gothish weirdo Alison Reynolds, played by Ali Sheedy, and finally we have the criminal and overbearing John Bender, played up to 11 by Judd Nelson. Each of them have found their way to detention for different reasons, and none of them are very happy about it. Supervised by Assistant Principal Vernon, played by Paul Gleason, the kids are tasked to sit in the absolutely ridiculously large school library, in silence, without moving, to write a 1,000-word essay about who they think they are. Except, they're not really playing ball. Well, Bender isn't playing ball. Bender is the sort of guy to start an argument for argument's sake, and sure enough is quick to get into a heated debate with his teacher, and as soon as he leaves, Bender turns his anger on the rest of the group, bullying Brian, antagonising Andrew, making aggressive passes on Claire, and just ignoring Alison. However, despite his initial anger, Bender's humanity begins to seep in, especially when Vernon, sick of Bender's antics, locks him in a cupboard and threatens him. A genuinely terrifying and uncomfortable scene where Bender turns from brash and arrogant to whimpering and flinching in front of the teacher. No doubt a form of PTSD from his father's own treatment of Bender at home. One by one, the group opens up to one another, and between spontaneous dancing, deep heartbreaking conversations, and even a truly bizarre weed smoking moment wherein the weed was obviously cut with something very unpleasant to make Andrew dance the way he does. In the end, we're treated to a group of young people revealing that they're all screwed up. Indeed, as are the audience watching at home. Some people are just better at hiding it than others. Okay, so The Breakfast Club is hailed as one of the best Gen X films out. It launched the Brat Pack, it opened the doors to teen dramedies, and still inspires people to this day. It's undoubtedly iconic, but, and hear me out here, I do think it's a bit of a car crash. As mentioned, John Hughes wrote the first draft in 2 days. It's sprinkled with gags as well as long, in-depth scenes of improv from the cast. Judd Nelson, by the sounds of the cast and crew stories, was just as extreme and infuriating as Bender was on and off set. The Breakfast Club is, to me, a patchwork of egos and ideas. It's messy, it's choppy, and it lacks a singular voice. But you know what? I think that's probably why it works. It isn't a middle-aged man writing the words of the children, it's actors interpreting their characters under the shadow of John Hughes' vision. The scenes of soul-bearing grief are disturbingly real, and between gags and light comedy, there's some serious and real emotions on display here. Is it a crisp and efficient film? No, but it works. What doesn't work is the love story that comes out of nowhere, wherein Alison is forced to stop being herself and instead becomes a preppy Claire Light before Andrew notices her. Yeah, Be yourself. Understand who you are, just as long as you look like everyone else. Everyone clear on that? Great.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh, Robert!
Oh, why have you got that for?
What?
Why have you got 2 shot glasses?
2 shot glasses?
Why have you got 2 shot glasses?
Oh, maybe to put something in them.
Ah.
I'm resurrecting an old feature that we haven't done in a long time,
Alright.
called Show and Tell.
Okay.
And now, it's Show and Tell. Screen bucket. Oh, that looks rather nice. I've got something to show you. So in the early days of Stream Bucket, I would go to Rob's flat, and I would often bring him a gift of food or drink that would utterly disgust him. This then became a thing with the paste, and became a paste off where actually you loved it. So I won. Okay. I won the paste off at the end. So I'm going to try something new. This is something I found discounted, 50% off, at the nearby supermarket, and I thought, do you know what? We need to try that on air. So, introducing
Oh, what the hell is that?
Camel Milk.
Oh, for God's sake!
It's Camelicious.
Is it? What have you got that for? It's going to taste like...
It says long life whole camel milk, and I wasn't sure if that meant camel or it was a brand. So I looked on the ingredients. Made from 100% camel milk.
I thought you were going to bring out alcohol.
Is this better or worse?
Worse.
Yes.
It's going to taste like a smelly, hairy mound.
Well, that's it. Is this milk straight from the humps?
Why is it like that?
What do you mean?
Is it powdered? Is it a little bottle inside?
Liquid. Let's find out, shall we?
Right,
Shake well before using it.
Of course,
Have a
yeah.
shake.
You got to get all the sand out the bottom.
Yeah. This might be the best milk you've ever drunk.
I don't know. I feel like if it was the best milk anyone's ever drunk, then people would drink it.
Well, normally it would cost £3.66 for this container. So it's quite pricey. I got it for £1.83. 50% off. You can get more.
I feel like it's going to be like. I feel like it's going to be semen-y. Oh, look at that. It's like an actual, like one of those coffee drinks you get from the shop. Wait, where was it? Where?
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no, that's alright. That's like milk. Doesn't smell much like milk.
What does that mean?
Have a little smell. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
We're not going to shot it though. I think maybe sip.
Okay.
Alright, okay, there we go. Well, do you know what? That tastes, as you mentioned, like you say, that tastes like the little capsules of milk you get in a hotel,
Yeah. Yes, it does.
but more creamy. That's really nice. I like that.
That's exactly what that's what it is.
It's like oat milk.
It's got a weird something.
There's a
Kick.
Is it a nuttiness?
Is it the richness of the?
It's very rich, actually. This on flipping golden Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just thinking Weetabix actually. It might have spunk up. Spice up. It might spice up the Weetabix.
I really like that. That's absolutely delicious. I have to save some for Josh.
A little tiny
you
dash
want
more.
a
A
little
tiny
more.
dash more. Yeah, that's nice. All right, cool. Milky.
All right, okay, listeners, we've discovered camel milk.
Okay.
Tip top. I want to make a white Arabian.
Ooh, that sounds racial.
Yeah, camel milk plus vodka.
Nice.
I was going to say that without my voice breaking.
Oh my god, is it reverse puberty? Is that what the effect does?
Oh my god.
That's not bad at all.
I'm blown away by that.
That's not bad at all.
Camel milk for all the family.
Yeah.
Greenback. An addendum, Rob.
Yeah.
I just checked the best before date.
Right.
20th of April,
Oh,
2020.
of April. It's a month
out
It's a month out of date.
It's a month out of date.
It's a month out. Where did you get it again? Yeah, are we allowed to say? Is that slander? No way.
Yeah.
Seriously? Wait,
I might have the receipt. I might take it back.
What's to say? I drunk this and
notice the best before. Well, whoa!
Well, you could have died. We could have been
It
killed.
does say long life, so that means it's been on the shelf for 4 years already. Maybe that's why it's got a tang. That's still
Maybe
nice,
that
though.
was maybe that was the talent. Or maybe that was the richness. The fact that it was going off.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh yeah, still alive to tell the tale.
Green Bucket, Adam and Rob.
Welcome to Fortnight Schmortnight. Doug Liman
Yeah.
is set to direct Tom Cruise's space adventure.
What?
The plan was initially confirmed by NASA and Elon Musk's SpaceX, and now it seems concerned. Camel milk.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't-
not great for the for the clarity.
And
Do what camels do, spit.
Doug Liman is set to direct Tom Cruise's space adventure. The plan was initially confirmed by NASA. Doug Liman is set to direct Tom Cruise's space adventure. The plan was initially confirmed by NASA and Elon Musk's SpaceX. And now it seems confirmed that Lyman is set to take charge of the expedition. The director has apparently been involved from the director has apparently been
Camel
involved
milk is
from
dangerous
the
for your
get-go,
vocals.
and already has a proven relationship with Cruise, having also directed him on Edge of Tomorrow and American Made. Is this the first time a Scientologist has gone to space, though? What if something happens, Adam?
Why, he might get abducted by Lord Xenu.
He'll be taken away to the Scientologist kingdom, and he'll come back with an army.
Yeah, what, the Fions?
Is there
Phaetons?
any sort of earthly messiah in Scientology?
It's Tom Cruise.
It is Tom Cruise.
It is Tom Cruise.
And I wonder what would happen. He'd come up in the rocket, and then big alien purple hand would come and grab him through a window.
Yes. Xenu.
And then they'd make love.
I don't know much. I know that B-52 spaceships were involved and volcanoes.
Right. Well, that's good enough for me. Tom Cruise.
Sign me up.
What's next? Scott Derrickson is due to direct the long-awaited Labyrinth sequel.
Ooh!
Having previously been attached to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness until eventually taking a pass, Derrickson is now on board to helm Labyrinth 2, with the Henson Company also returning.
Yes. The fact the Henson Company are returning,
It's all the S's.
that's it. That wipes clean any wrongdoings or apprehension.
I think there's a tasteful thing they can do with David Bowie, a la the Goblin King. I don't know if you remember in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Probably not.
Well, there's a really beautiful scene where Hermione's got to read a bit from a book called The Deathly Hallows, or
Yeah.
The Beadle and the Bard, where they have this lovely animation, and it's not, I don't know, it's not too forceful, it's very beautifully drawn. And they could have some sort of reference to the Goblin King like that, I always imagined in my head. Like someone telling a fairy tale and he's like animated and drawn.
Yeah, I can see that.
They could
Or
do that.
just have a statue.
Would you have a statue? Yeah.
There's got to be some. There have to be some
About where he
link.
went.
Yeah.
Because there can't be anyone else playing it.
And the Goblin King.
Oh, take a look
And
at
the-
my big old bulb.
They need to hire Jermaine Clement
Yeah.
as his son.
Right.
I'm the Goblin
Oh,
Prince.
the Goblin Princess.
I'm 1980s Bowie.
I have an even bigger bulge. Yeah, that's very, very exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. I like that.
We
I
all love
like
Labyrinth,
that.
and more of that world would be welcome.
Well, that's kind of that was the best case scenario when they brought out the Dark Crystal series.
Yeah, it's good. It's materialised. Well done, Hensons. The Venice Film Festival is set to return this September despite the current international crisis.
Oh.
But now, according to the governor of Italy's Veneto region... What?
What? Veneto?
According to the governor of Italy's Veneto region... Right, I guess that's a region in Italy.
Yes.
Lucia,
You wrote the thing.
Lucazea, the 2020 incarnation of the Venice International Film Festival, is still scheduled to go ahead in September. Deadline has warned that there has been no official word from the festival itself regarding return of the festival, but Zaya is on the board of directors, so it looks like it's a pretty concrete statement. Are they blowing their load too soon?
September.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't have the answers. Shut up.
Do it. Yeah.
See what happens.
It's the worst that can happen.
Nothing.
The city's in a flood.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Eh.
Alright, moving on. Gotta be professionally dealt with that talking point. Edgar Wright's upcoming movie Last Night in Soho has been delayed until April 2021.
What?
There's camel milk in my freaking mouth. It's just in there, and I can't speak that. Originally set for a September 2020 release, Wright's much-anticipated film has joined the masses of big movies to be pushed back due to the coronavirus. Last Night in Soho stars Matt Smith and Anya Taylor-Joy. Not much is known about the film other than it's largely set in 19...
Anya Taylor-Joy? Is she from The Vavitch?
I think it is her. The eyes. Yes.
Yeah, she's great.
Yes. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, she's going to be in it. It's going to be set in 1960s London, and it's going to have time-twisting elements.
Ooh.
Boo.
Oh.
Don't like time travel.
What?
Or,
You don't like time travel?
I don't like it.
What? You've just seen crap time travel. You've seen things with a pendant and you go back in time.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, rubbish, that's why.
Yeah. I don't like it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Edgar Wright. Fair play. You want to sell more tickets? Do what you want. What?
Oh, God, the segment's deteriorating every week.
No, it's not.
It's just melting in this pit of...
You gave me the milk. You gave me the freaking milk. Listen.
It's not my fault it's out of date.
Don't know why you gave it to me.
By a month.
Gone. The best piece of news. The best piece...
Oh, no, there's another one underneath. Look, January 2021. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, so just re-stamped over the what?
No, maybe...
How does that keep until a year?
Because it's... Look, Rob. Long life. Whole camel milk.
Right.
They
Okay.
don't go into the desert for nothing.
Okay.
Continue.
The best news. The best television news. The best television news anyone's ever had. Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Premier League. Is
Oh,
due to
never mind.
restart
Oh, well,
June the
whatever.
17th with
Moving
Manchester
on to the
City
next
versus
segment.
Arsenal.
Who
And Aston Villa
cares?
versus
Who
Sheffield
cares?
United.
Premier League.
All those
bollocks.
months of waiting, and we're finally getting football.
Well
back.
done.
Oh,
well
yes,
done.
Yes, we're finally.
The thing that never
Finally.
ends ended for a
Oh
bit.
God, I'm so happy. I waited so long. I had to watch German football. Do you know how boring that is?
Yes, I've watched English football.
It's well, then you'd know. Okay.
Well,
So concludes.
shame.
So concludes another successful round
Yeah.
of Fortnite Schmortnight.
Failure, absolute failure.
Fantastic. Don't criticise my hard work.
Nick's game reviews. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. After the enormous but ultimately empty and boring world of Assassin's Creed Origins, I really had very little hope for Odyssey going into it. I didn't hate Origins. The gameplay was alright, I suppose. The reinvention of the combat was welcome and the main story was interesting enough. The issue I had with it was the world itself. Just too big and not enough of interest in it. Plus, Bayek was a drab character. So, as I booted up Odyssey, I was introduced to the main character. I chose Cassandra. I was pleasantly surprised when she actually showed, well, character. Her dialogue right from the start was humorous and natural. Your starting point, the little island of Kefalonia just off the west coast of mainland Greece, is absolutely rammed, full of busy NPCs, interesting side quests and caves, towns and temples populated with the interesting decor and environmental storytelling. The story expands out into the wider world in a gradual and reasonable way, ensuring you don't feel daunted, as has been the issue in far too many open world games recently. The side quests are intriguing and fulfilling, and with the introduction of dialogue options and even consequential actions, you really feel like you're having an impact on the world. And that's the key to Odyssey's success. The world is massive, but at no point did I feel lost or bored. Every corner, nook and cranny is full of little tidbits of intrigue that sometimes can even actually draw emotions out of you. There's one particular side quest involving a little girl who wants you to get some jewellery for her friends. The emotional gut punch almost broke me. Another of Odyssey's successes is the ship warfare. They got it right with Black Flag and so haven't changed a thing, except to add the ability to ram ships to finish them off by cleaving them in half. It's glorious. So it's all good, right? All of the positives should be enough to make me say, sod it, it's great, go play it. But, well, there is one issue that usually with games doesn't bother me too much, and that's the graphical issues. Now, don't get me wrong, 80% of the time this game looks exceptional. The world is vibrant and luscious, and there was plenty of times where I would just stop and stare at a lake or pool of water and think, oh, God, I want to be there. But then, the rest of the time, the graphics would glitch, or the performance would drop, and oh my word, there'd be textures popping in and out all over the place, foliage appearing and disappearing, shading flicking from one colour to the next, and shadows just 1 minute they're there, the next minute they're gone. The characters would go from looking exceptional to last generation within the same cutscene. And the frame rate, oh god, the frame rate. I was playing on my Xbox One X, supposedly the most powerful console available today, and I was lucky if I got even a whole minute of consistent 30 frames per second. I dread to think what it would be like on other consoles. And that's the real shame here. Ubisoft have succeeded in creating characters that are enjoyable to spend time with, a world so full and lively and believable that I would happily holiday there, and a storyline so inventive and enthralling that I had to keep reminding myself I was actually even playing an Assassin's Creed game. And yet it's all spoiled by the graphical glitches that draw you straight out of that experience. Ultimately, video games are about immersion. And if the graphical glitches and frame rate drops are so bad that they can break that immersion, then that's a huge problem. If people are confused as to why the next Assassin's Creed installment, Valhalla, will only be getting 30 FPS on the new consoles, well, just look at the fact that they couldn't even get 30 FPS right on the current generation of consoles. Assassin's Creed Odyssey really is a superb example of storytelling, whether environmental or character driven, but this may be one to wait for, at least until the new generation, to see if they can smooth out the performance with the new consoles, or just play it on a high-end PC if you can afford it.
Oh, mademoiselle, would you like to have a film discussion?
Oh yes, monsieur, I would love to have an in-depth film discussion with you, like they do on Screen Bucket.
So we got 31 stab wounds.
What was it?
Ice pick.
I'd like to speak to Miss Catherine Trammell, please.
Is she a suspect?
She's a writer. She published a novel. It's about a retired rock and roll star who gets murdered by his girlfriend.
You know how she does the boyfriend? With an ice pick.
She intended the book to be her alibi.
You didn't feel anything for him, you just had sex with him for your book.
In the beginning, he gave me a lot of pleasure.
You like playing games?
Games are fun.
What's your new book about?
A detective. He falls for the wrong woman.
What happens?
She kills him. How's it feel to kill someone?
You tell me.
You're in over your head.
She seduces people. She manipulates people. She's evil!
Freeze! I have nothing to hide.
You playing a game here?
Games are over.
Robert,
Adam.
You chose the word devious.
I did choose the word devious. And
what was your thought process when you got the word devious?
So I wanted to think of an underhanded, scheming protagonist. I almost went with Catch Me If You Can, the Leonardo DiCaprio based on a true person. Well, it's very good. I haven't watched it in a long time. Clockwork Orange sprang to mind. You made the point that they weren't so much devious as just plain like sick and twisted.
Just thugs.
Yeah, just thugs. Yeah, I had a little think, and then Basic Instinct had to be the one.
Yes, and this is a prime devious film. There's even a line, and I'm trying to find the actual line, but it's something like, this is the work of someone, a devious, sociopathic, whatever.
One of the psychotherapists that was saying it. And interestingly, I was talking about Hellraiser earlier, and Hellraiser 1 is in the film.
Yeah, it's in the background on a late night.
And that's kind of about devious people. That's about deviants. That's about psychos. The first one's got killers. Anyway, digress.
Deviance is different to devious.
Yeah, but it's got devious people in Hellraiser.
Yeah, I suppose.
Plotting murders and affairs.
So does Event Horizon.
True. So does everything.
But anyway, so the film you chose.
Yeah, Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct, 1992. Described as a neo-noir erotic thriller. I'd agree with that.
Yep.
Towards the end, I think I even said it. It should have been in black and white.
Yeah.
It would have worked just as well.
Oh, it would have worked fantastically.
Directed by Paul Verhoeven, one of my favourite directors.
Yeah.
Growing on you, I think.
Well, very much so. Yeah. Well, as we said earlier, saw Showgirls earlier in the year, and it's there's some similarities, especially in like the kind of not very sexy, jagged movements.
Yeah, what the hell's that about?
I think it was a 90s thing. I think it was just sort of exploration of like raw passion in sex. But
even when they're dancing.
Because that's what I mean. The dancing, it's all in the dancing as well, but it looks silly.
It looks silly, it looks aggressive, and it looks like, okay, back away from me.
It doesn't translate well onto film. It just looks a bit like staged, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just looks robotic, but not in a cool robot dance way.
Not in a robot dance way, no.
Yes. So, so Basic Instinct, I think I've seen it before our screening. I sort of remember the beginning and the end. I didn't remember the middle so much.
I think the first half is much better than the second half.
It loses itself, I think.
It does.
We were saying that, I don't know whether it's deliberate or not, but the main character, Nick, his costume goes a bit weird at one point.
He has a Tobey Maguire moment in Spider-Man 3.
So he's like late 40s-ish.
Yeah.
And at the beginning... And at the end, actually, he's sort of dressed in a suit. His hair's kind of, slicked back and of the time, But then halfway through, he starts wearing bomber jackets and low-cut T-shirts.
V-neck T-shirts.
Yeah. It just comes out of nowhere, and it's noticeably jarring.
And I wonder if that's because it's dated, because it's obviously a metaphor with her drawing out the kind of sinner in him.
Yeah, that's the impression. It's like he's becoming... It's the equivalent of wearing a leather jacket and starting smoking.
But it kind of like... nowadays, it looks as silly as one of us wearing a frickin' varsity jacket.
Yeah.
On a night out, or like, I don't know, it looks bad.
It brings to mind someone suddenly wearing... IT Crowd, when Roy wants to be a bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
So he wears a leather jacket and sunglasses and starts smoking. It's that.
It is that, yeah. So that's 100% what it is.
So it's notorious film for one scene in particular.
Oh, yes.
Sharon Stone in an interrogation room. Catherine, her name is, isn't it? In an interrogation room, basically toying with the interrogators, the men.
You like playing games, don't you?
I have a degree in psychology. It goes with the turf. Games are fun.
What about boxing? That's a game. Was that fun, too?
I don't think that's relevant to this inquiry.
Boxing was fun till Manny died.
How'd you feel when he died?
I loved him. It hurt.
How'd you feel when I told you Johnny Barnes had died?
I felt like someone had read my book and was playing a game.
But it didn't hurt.
No.
Because you didn't love him.
Now, believe it or not, that 2 hours ago was the first time I've ever seen that scene in my life.
That's mad.
I've never seen Basic Instinct before today.
Yeah.
I've seen it parodied by everything under the sun.
Well, yes.
Most recently, I saw it in the Netflix documentary Don't F With Cats about a killer who killed a couple of people, and he was influenced by Basic Instinct, and there's a scene where he's been interrogated and he crosses his legs whilst he asks for a cigarette, and he yaks out her and says things that she says and is absolutely obsessed with the movie, and he even copycats one of the murders.
Okay,
to that extent. That's so. The effect of Basic Instinct is to the extent that someone has killed that's been influenced to murder.
In the email that was sent to Alex West of The Sun, there's a specific line that's mentioned, which is almost a direct ripoff of a line that Sharon Stone says.
Killing isn't like smoking. You can quit.
Quite shocking, because it doesn't glorify it. It's not like American Psycho.
No.
It doesn't, linger on the deaths. The deaths just sort of happen.
Yeah.
It's but there's long, lingering sequences of sex beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's weird that you would focus on that. Well, there you go.
I think it was the power to manipulate that this particular guy found fascinating.
And speaking of, have you seen Gone Girl?
No.
See, I don't know whether Gone Girl was deliberately like going off the back of Basic Instinct, because the way it's shot is quite similar. The way it lingers on the female antagonist as well. David Fincher directed that, and I do wonder if David Fincher took an influence from this, whether subconscious or not. I think back to back they'd worked really well.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, Gone Girl's a slightly different tale. It's more about the media and
Right.
and how to manipulate society and the media impression of you and stuff. The actual sort of Basic Instinct stuff's quite minor, although very graphic. This was graphic as well in its way. The violence was quite surprising.
Yeah, I mean, right from the off,
Yeah,
first scene.
Paul Verhoeven, though, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
But yes.
Right from the off, we start with a blonde woman. We can't quite make out her face. She is riding sexually, erotically, shagging
Yes.
a man in a bed. And then he ties him up.
She
and then
ties him up,
She
yes.
ties him up and gets an ice pick out and stabs the living daylights out of him. And he makes a horrible face.
Stabs him in the face.
Stabs him in the face. His eyes go really wide.
Ugh.
He's really minging.
Yeah, so suddenly this murder, and this is how the film kicks off. We're introduced to the San Francisco Police Department, including Nick, our slightly dodgy protagonist, sort of ex-smoker, ex-alcoholic police detective with a tragic past.
Yes.
Real sort of noir setup. They find that the guy who's died was a rock star.
Turn to the art. He was a very a respected member of the art
Yes,
society
so
as well.
the police department lean on this. They wanted to find out who did it. There's sightings of him with his girlfriend, the wonderful Catherine, played by Sharon Stone. And they go to find her, and she doesn't give up much information.
No.
In fact, she's smiling a lot. She's immediately like, it's her.
Yeah.
She did it.
So way like they tell her, she sort of says to him, he's dead. And they're like, yeah. And it's like, well, why are you not? There's no reaction. She's smiling through the entire conversation. And that's psychotic. And you said at the time, you'd say that is grounds to take someone down the station instantly.
Yeah, my understanding was, especially in American police, they use like the 911 call as evidence. They judge your reaction to the news, and they will judge you in the first 20 seconds of seeing you, how you respond. Smiling and joking, get in the bloody car. That's fun. Get in the bloody car. Yeah, so it's quite bizarre. Eventually, they decide to put her in, and we have the famous interrogation.
But before the interview, we get like they're talking about her. They're talking about her qualifications and stuff. But when she's actually been driven to the interview, we get the first signs of manipulation.
Do you have a cigarette?
I don't smoke.
Yes, you do.
I quit.
Congratulations.
Thought you didn't have any cigarettes.
Oh, I found some in my pocket. Would you like one?
I told you, I quit.
It won't last.
And so, right from the off, you're thinking, okay, what's her game here? She did it, obviously.
Well,
but what's her game?
She refers to Nick by name throughout, from almost immediately on meeting them. And when they go to pick her up, he finds newspapers with his articles about the tragic incident of his past. So she's researching him. Catherine she's studied psychology, studied literature, she's a writer, and she wrote a murder mystery story where a rock star gets stabbed to death with an ice pick by his girlfriend.
Yes.
And that's enough for the police department to go, hang on a minute.
Yeah, well, there's something not quite right here. There's something a bit fishy.
Even to the details, like the silk scarf, the white silk scarf being used to tie up. So, yeah, they put her in. The interrogation scene, her manipulation and powers of control just go skyrocket in this scene. And we get the cameras whooshing around. As a scene, I think it might be one of the sort of highlights of the 90s, especially of the genre.
Oh, 100%.
Because there's constant movement. Everyone has... You know exactly how everyone's feeling.
Every time she fixes her attention on someone, You get the idea of them quite up close, looking sweaty or fidgeting or doing something with their drink.
Yeah. Well, there's one guy who's clearly besotted with her, so just wants to agree with her.
Yeah.
And you know that and so there's one point, she was like, why are you talking? Why is anyone listening? She obviously focuses her attention on Nick, starts calling him by the name, which makes the rest of the interviewers
like wary
suspicious and wary, yeah. And that's kind of where her tendrils start digging into Nick. Because soon after he goes a bit manic. He starts drinking and smoking again. So he gets let go from the force for a little bit while he has a psych evaluation and all this stuff. And that's when he falls into her trap. She's now in full research mode. She's studying Nick as the protagonist for her new book. And she's just toying with him. And he starts off with this idea of playing the game back and toy with her. But
it doesn't work. She's in power the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And then you find out she's gay, but she's not. She's got this girlfriend who's very jealous of them. And then you find out little hints of a backstory with Nick's previous lover, the police psych therapist. So you're getting many examples of her, poisoning other people's minds and stuff.
Oh, the whole timeline of her life, just like there's suspicions over her parents and how they died. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a really well thought out, well planned murder mystery.
My favourite scene, I think, was when Nick goes into the questioning room himself after his rival is found shot in the head and mimics everything she was doing. In the first scene, Catherine lights up a cigarette. He goes, "Are you going to find me for smoking?" when they protest. Exactly the same thing with Nick.
Yeah.
He starts looking around the room. Luckily, he's not wearing a skirt and he doesn't uncross his legs. We would have been greeted with a ball sack. But, and that was such a brilliant moment because it was kind of the idea that he almost admires her. He admires the control that she has and the kind of blaseness. It's kind of seeped into him.
Yeah, and without making a massive deal about it. It's the thing, isn't it? Mimicry is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just embodying her spirit. And sure enough, gets let out, basically scot-free. Just this constant web of lies. This is why, again, it makes me think of a couple other things as well, as Zodiac.
Yeah.
Zodiac has this big web of mystery and confusion. Basic Instinct, although weirdly badly reviewed on Rotten Tomatoes, it has all the foundations of everything that's come since, I think.
It's it has all the foundations that are brilliant and right. Where I struggled with it was I think they rushed a bit of the connections too much because they bring in a second family of children who get killed, don't they? There's like two different families.
Yes.
And then
they're linked to Roxy.
And they're linked to Roxy, but then you're like, who's that?
Yeah.
And I think because of the pace of the film, I mean, after the second half, when it goes into different people and different people's experiences with Catherine, you kind of get a bit lost. And
yes, I noticed you again slightly a lot comes very quickly.
A lot comes very quickly, and the intrigue and the interest of the film kind of loses pace. The first half, you're very much, oh my god, this is fascinating. Look how much power she has over him. Look what she's turning him into. And then all of a sudden, around about the scene with the club, with the silly dancing, I think that's kind of...
Yeah.
But then again, that's where they first hook up. So maybe that's it. Maybe the thrill of the chase is over. I don't know.
Yeah, it does change, I think. Like, he falls into a trap and then struggles to get out. It's only when his partner, Gus, manages to sort of slap him into awareness. And also the murder attempt, the assassination attempt on Nick. Yeah, and there's the trouble. It's an early 90s erotic thriller. And there is lots of eroticness. And I think he gets lost in that a bit as well.
Yeah.
I think there's two ways of playing the film. One, it could be murder she wrote, murder mystery about a woman manipulating people and killing them. Or you do an erotic thriller, and it sort of falls in the middle. And I think it leans both ways at different points in the film. So he goes, oh, it's a murder mystery. And it's not much of a mystery.
No, there's no mystery.
There's no mystery. you very quickly know exactly who it is. They try and throw you a red herring by having another blonde woman turn up.
Yeah.
But at the end, it tries it again as well, and by that point, like, no, I know who did it.
I think it needs to be 20 minutes shorter. I think if they squeeze that story...
It is a long film.
I think, and especially for the story it tells, it's not like some gangster epic or something. You know, it's a thriller with murders and sex, and that doesn't have to be over 2 hours long.
Well, yeah, I think there's probably about 40 minutes of just sex. There's lots of Sharon Stone bum.
Yes, and she has a lovely bottom.
Yes, it does. Let's move past this.
One other thing I'd talk about is the rape scene does not hold up well.
Now, yes, that was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And the Game of Thrones, I think maybe series 5, there's a scene where Jaime Lannister comes back and rapes his sister on their dead son's body.
Jesus Christ!
But it's...
Why didn't anyone watch that?
I know. And it's not... And it's not as bad as that in terms of there's not a dead son in between them, but it's as bad as in the fact that, like, he's been very violent with her and very forceful, and I don't think they'd show that today.
Yeah. I mean...
I don't think it'd get in.
She clearly didn't affect the character because she was angry at him, but sort of carried on.
Yeah.
I think that might be a thing of the times.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like early 90s, late 80s, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like...
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really uncomfortable watching now. Michael Douglas... I mean, he's the luckiest man alive.
Yes.
He's the luckiest man alive.
Scored something of the century with that, so to speak.
His whole life is like that. Is he good in this?
I mean, he's Michael Douglas in this. He has the face and the charm and the charisma and...
I wonder what would it be if it was Harrison Ford?
I was about to say Harrison Ford. He would be a bit more bumbling. He wouldn't be as confident. I think maybe he'd be a bit more like...
Yeah, I suppose...
A bit more serious.
Do you know as well, I wonder if this was deliberate. Because Michael Douglas is in good shape in this film, but he's still an older grizzled detective type.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, even until quite late in his career, would have been too attractive.
Do you think?
I think part of it is that there's this beautiful woman who's going with this guy because she's controlling him, not because she's attracted to him.
Right.
I think there's something in that as well. I think it's not something they say, but it's something your brain puts together.
Right.
Because you look at them going... Especially when he's in the club, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah, come on, man.
Do you know what I mean?
Take that V-neck T-shirt off.
I don't know is there another Harrison Ford type?
Pierce Brosnan.
Again, too handsome.
Mike Myers. You tried to kill me once, baby. Yeah.
There must be someone else. My brain's done. It's too hot in here.
It's too hot. Let's move on.
All right. So, Basic Instinct. Where's it going?
It's not going in the Hall of Fame.
No, I agree.
It's not going. It's a great movie. I can see why it's got cult status. It's got one of the great scenes of all time. No, not of all time. It's got one of the great scenes of the 90s, like you said. But no, it is not a masterpiece of cinema.
No, I think there's highlights, but it does drag on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does drag.
Yeah, watch Gone Girl.
Yeah,
David Fincher.
I can't be bothered, so I'm not going to watch it.
Why not?
Because I know what happens at the end.
Yeah, but it's the journey.
And is it?
It's all the media manipulation. It's awesome.
All right, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, you won't. You're just lying, everyone.
I'll add it to the list.
Adam's Retro Film Reviews. The American, 2010.
Hello? It's Jack. I want out.
Consider it your last job. You don't even have to pull the trigger.
You're an American.
Let's see. A working vacation.
You have the hands of a craftsman. You are good with machines.
I do have a good head.
The Belgians think someone might have put a tail on you. You've got a long list of enemies, Jack. I told them no one gets close to you.
They don't.
You're a good man, but you have a secret.
You have done much sinning.
All men are sinners.
Everything I've done, I've had good cause to do.
Another film I've seen many times before. The American is a faintly noir action thriller adapted from the novel A Very Private Gentleman by Martin Booth. Directed by Anton Corbijn and written by Rowan Yoffe, The American introduces us to Jack, played by George Clooney, a contract killer, gunsmith and man on the run. When we first meet Jack, he's getting cosy with his lover Ingrid in the Swedish countryside until he is attacked by unseen snipers deep in the woods. To Ingrid's shock, Jack pulls a gun and quickly dispatches the would-be assassins before turning the gun on the only other witness, Ingrid. Disturbed that he was found, Jack retreats to Rome to get in contact with his handler Pavel, played by Johan Laysom. Pavel isn't happy but provides an address for Jack to hide away until further notice. Soon, Jack is en route deep into the picturesque mountain villages of Italy, eventually settling on Castle Del Monte, changing his name to Edward. Initially keeping his head down, Jack, let's call him Edward, is noticed by the locals, and a faint friendship emerges between Edward and the local priest Father Benedetto, played by Paolo Bonacelli. As Edward gets more comfortable, he begins to frequent the local brothel, soon getting very close to one woman in particular, Clara, played by the beautiful Violante Placido, and they begin to meet outside of work. Meanwhile, Pavel hasn't forgotten Edward and tasks him to meet with another contract killer, Mathilda, played by Thekla Rutan. She requests Edward build her a gun, a sniper rifle with enough stopping power to take out her target while still being able to easily fit into a small bag or case. It will take some work and Edward sets to it, but his heart isn't in it. The more he talks with Father Benedetto, the more he falls for Clara, the more he wants out of it. Haunted by the death of Ingrid and still watching his back for the arrival of more Swedish assassins, Edward is drawn more and more to the peaceful countryside. His fascination with butterflies soon earning him the nickname Mr. Butterfly by both Matilda and Clara. But as the job comes to an end, Edward is forced to confront the harsh reality that the price to get out of the game is a heavy one. The American absolutely blows me away every time. Inspired by spaghetti western genre, there are also frequent references to Sergio Leone, both visually and in the soundtrack, and most notably in the atmosphere. Yes, The American might have been a rough take on the James Bond franchise, but the atmosphere and pacing of this film is slow, methodic, and deeply memorable. Every lingering shot paints a picture in your mind. You know every narrow alley, every street, every angle to disappear into. Indeed, the director was inspired by the Venetian streets in Don't Look Now for many of these shots, and it absolutely works. The story, while second to the American's atmosphere, is light but beautifully heartbreaking and earnest, and well, all I can say is go watch it yourself. It's on Netflix right now, and I really won't do the film justice in saying any more. Check it out.
A man can be rich if he has God in his heart. I don't think God's very interested in me, Father.
Boobs.
What?
Boobs.
Oh.
Boobs.
Oh.
And
yes.
Blood.
Oh. Oh.
A festival in Los Angeles that plays homage to those very little strange niche movies of big-bosomed heroines fighting in bloody ways, and maybe there's vampires and other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think?
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, we this is we like all of the films. Me and Adam, we like and Josh, we like our silly films, our weird films, our wonderful films. We do like no holds barred, no worry of cheese or corn, very silly, big boobed
corn,
guns. Did I say porn?
You said corn, which is interesting.
It's the camel's milk.
Yes, so we like silly films that make us laugh, that go ridiculous, and obviously
over the top.
Try and be earnest, especially, but they just fail horribly, and that's the niche we enjoy, and that's kind of where we were with Quaggers. We wanted to make something silly, over the top, ridiculous, and plan on making many more like it. So we found this film festival, which it looks exactly what we need to do. We need to be doing. In fact, I wonder if we should just enter Quaggers into it anyway. So, any grindhouse or exploitation genre, including horror, sci-fi, action, martial arts, film noir, blaxploitation, comedy, it's all there.
Would this include the sort of Tromery type films like, what was that, a nymphoid, what in Dinosaur Hell?
A
nymphoid barbarian in Dinosaur Hell.
Nymphoid warrior in Dinosaur Hell, is it?
A nymphoid barbarian in Dinosaur Hell.
Warrior, a nymphoid.
Nymphoid...
A nymphoid barbarian in Dinosaur Hell.
Whatever it was.
Yes.
So that kind of movie as well.
I think this absolutely covers Troma.
Yeah.
It mentions in the blurb here Quentin Tarantino and Roger Corman as the classics. But this, yes, I think. Bloody Tromeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah. What a film.
What a film. That would land so well in this. Obviously, if it was new. Although it does say any films produced any year in any category.
Huh. Well, so if you were to make the perfect movie for this film festival, Adam, what would be the necessary components?
Right. So, well, okay. So, write what you know. Number one. So, let's stick in our breadth of knowledge.
Okay.
So, we need boobs. We need blood. We need something silly.
Okay.
We always lean comedy anyway.
For this film, I would like to suggest, but our protagonist be a female.
Okay.
But what world would she be in?
Well, this is the only trouble with female protagonists is we don't know a female protagonist.
It's alright, we'll get a female writer in.
Okay. Okay, well, let's pitch something. So, what do we know? What's our shared knowledge bases?
Well, we know sci-fi. We know the woods.
Yeah, Woods is a good one. Yeah.
We know...
We've got shared knowledge in sort of Arthurian folk.
Yes, we do.
Being grown up and living in a small, contained area.
Yeah, okay.
We know college. We know British schools. What else we know? Churches.
Okay.
You grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
I grew up Church of England. Is there any other shared caravan holidays, camping?
Camping, I've never been on a caravan holiday before.
We've been camping, that's basically the same.
Okay. Festivals, music, gigs?
That's just you.
Yeah. Alright, so again, I'm sensing a little heritage, a little British heritage and all that.
Well, yeah, we have to make...
Of custom heritage.
It has to be our, we have to stand out from all these Americans entering.
Okay, right. Could she be some sort of Arthurian warrior, or maybe the Lady of the Lake who has been revived?
I was just thinking Lady of the Lake.
Okay.
Would we want it to be set contemporary?
Set now, she's revived.
Yep.
Because of a dragon, and Arthur's dead, they can't get Arthur, so they get the lady?
Don't know about that. I feel like the Lady of the Lake is someone who gives you the power to do the quest.
Okay. So she's not going to be a kick-ass, big-breasted...
Well, she still could be.
Okay.
But I don't think she should be the protagonist. She should be the wise guide. The Obi-Wan. The one who pushes you on the path to glory.
Alright, well, why don't we get a collection of dopey college students played by 25-year-olds?
Yes. With hairlines.
Yeah.
Receding hairlines. Well, okay, how do we bring in the exploitation side of it? Well, we like Troma. Troma is regarded as the punk of film.
How about Merlin's the bad guy?
Okay.
And he's got like a horde of nasty little gimp men. And they're taking the women from the college and the town and locking them in their cells for their erotic pleasure.
Okay. I like it.
And 4 students are out getting high and smoking dope and drinking kegs in the forest.
Right. And they are punks.
And they're punks.
They're proper 70s punks. They're
the Sex Pistols reimagined.
Spit through the eye of the needle punks.
Right.
Right? And they're high and they're drunk and whatever. And they stumble on the Lady of the Lake. Who is this ethereal... She's been summoned by the dark magic of... I was about to call him Gandalf. Merlin and his little gimpy men. So she gives them powers. It's turning into like a kiss.
It's turning into
kiss
the Power
film.
Rangers. Kiss, yeah. What if they do? What if they do all get their own weapons and stuff? Like you get the fat punk gets a hammer.
That's an interesting
and
idea.
they can kill the nasty evil gimps in like really splatstick ways.
Yeah. Well, she gave the sword to Arthur. She could have a whole armory back there.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, she's got the other weapons.
So, the guy's got a. Well, hey, what are the sort of D&D tropes? So you've got the heavy, the Gimli.
Yeah, the thief.
So that'd be the hammer.
Yeah.
Have you the archer?
Yeah. With the bow, yeah.
But he fires safety pins.
Nice.
Stick with me.
Cool. Okay, brilliant.
Giant safety pins. You've got to have a sword guy as the leader, normally.
He's got a bass guitar.
That's the axe.
That's the axe. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're in a band, and they're so, okay.
Drumsticks, thief,
Drumstick
daggers,
knives.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's a band get magically infused weapons and have to track down
Merlin
and his little men. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So I'm thinking this is sort of Glastonbury area.
Yeah. Can there be free, like, they got, like, their punk girlfriends maybe get kidnapped and they got to go after them? Or are they, like, still around, mocking them and stuff?
Oh, you wanted a female protagonist, so it's a female band.
Oh.
Who are the ones who got in trouble in Russia?
Oh, that right.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We can say that. They're going to save their boyfriends.
Got it.
There you go. Who've been taken by Merlin, and Merlin's going to turn them into more gimp soldiers.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. Oh, I like it. And it's all, and they cover, and the soundtrack can therefore be like covers of
The Punks of Avalon.
The Punks of Avalon. Yes. And that's why the Lady of the Lake chooses them.
How do you make it have a more ridiculous title? Big-breasted Punks of Avalon.
Yo, that's it.
It
It has to keep getting longer, doesn't it? Fishnets in the stone. Come on, just brainstorm it.
Big boobed Knights of Camelot versus Nazi Merlin.
Boobfarian. Oh, no. The Lady of the Labia. the Labia of the Lake.
Big-titted ruffians versus Merlin and his naughty gimboids.
Yeah. Let me write that down. Big-titted
ruffians.
Ruffians?
Let's
carry on. Big-titted ruffians
versus Merlin.
You said gimboid, is that right?
Gimps and his
army of gimps.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about ruffians.
Yeah,
maybe they're Hell's Angels.
Big-titted Hellcats. Big-titted... Big-titted sex vixens.
Punk Amazons.
Yes.
Big-titted punk Amazons versus...
Merlin and his army of gimps.
This is brilliant.
This might be the best idea we've ever had. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Coming to a cinema near you.
How does it end? What's the ending? Is it just a fight?
Well, I've kind of got Deathstalker in my head where they reached an evil headquarters.
This is the third show in a row we've talked about Deathstalker.
You're gonna have to play the music again. You're gonna have to play the music with electric guitar. They break into the headquarters. They're like halfway to turning their dumb boyfriends. They're almost full gimp.
Well. How female empowerment are we going? Maybe they're too late, and they have to kill their boyfriends because they don't need men.
Well, then that's just no, because sometimes girls want to save the day and get the boy.
Well, they still
save the other way around.
They still save the day.
Like, why can't
but they have to do it by beating up their boyfriends.
Why can't they get their boyfriends back at the end?
I just that can still happen. But there could be a sequence where they fight them.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then they defeat
Merlin and
get a fix, whatever. Yeah. And reverses the spell. Or something.
Will Merlin have like a side lady with the biggest boobs of all time? Like a witch.
Vivian, isn't it?
Who's Vivian?
That's Nemu is the other name. That's the evil woman who sides with Morgana.
Oh,
And originally, that's why he's pissed off, because he got dumped.
Oh!
Merlin got dumped by Nemu, Vivian, whatever.
They had an erotic threesome with Arthur and Lancelot.
It'd be Lancelot, yeah.
Lancelot.
Okay, so he's bitter.
Yeah,
we can have a flashback with a threesome in it.
You punk Amazons.
Yeah. We're gonna kick your ass, Merlin.
No, you won't. I'm Merlin, and I have an army of chimps.
You dirty rotter.
You
dirty rotter.
That has to happen. Yeah. He sits them down. He
in an interview.
Some sort of spell, and the vines wrap around their arms, and they get tied up. And they have to listen to him talking, and they just start doing that. Come on, out with it. Say the rude word.
That's about it. It writes itself.
I mean, I thought this would be a funny little segment, but this might
have to do it. For those of you who don't know, there's a famous Sex Pistols interview. It goes off the rails very fast. Google it. But yeah, that has to be in a movie.
It does. It has to have a version of it.
I think we're going to make this. I think we're going to make it.
Right.
Anyway, let's...
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that was the best thing that's ever happened.
You dirty son. You dirty old man.
Well, keep going, Jake, keep going.
They came to party.
Get away from me, mate.
They came from outer space. But for these unhappy campers...
Just put this thing on.
Things are about to get slimy. If you go down to the woods today, you'd better keep an eye out for... quackers. They're mean, they're insane, and they're everywhere. And they've got an appetite for naughty campers. Starring Jodie Bennett, Bailey Pilbeam, Isabel Allbutt, and Blake Aiden. Quackers! They're everywhere.
We are not going back in that tent.
Watch it now at hollowdellmedia.vhx.tv.
And that was the show, Robert.
Yeah, we had a bad moment with Fortnight Schmortnight, but I think we rescued it with the best movie idea of all time.
Yes, I believe so. I blame the camel milk entirely. Still can't even talk.
Yeah, the camel milk has had a bad effect. Vengeance will be mine. Maybe next week I'll have my own show and tell.
Dog milk.
Yeah. Oh, God. Dog poo. Yeah.
A cockapoo?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, my parents did a cockapoo.
That's the cutest little doggy. He's the good boy.
In fact,
good girl?
Girl.
Good girl.
Sandy is the girl's name.
Good girl, doggy.
So yes, looking forward to seeing her. By the time this show goes out, we'll be able to meet in groups of 6 people.
Yeah, and McDonald's drive-thrus across the country will be letting you eat their precious cows once more.
Really?
Next week.
Including Hitchin?
Apparently all the drive-thru. That's what I've been told. Someone told me outside. If they're wrong, it's annoying. But yeah, apparently next week the drive-thrus are back.
Yes, if you like what you hear, you can follow us at screen_bucket on Twitter. Also at Hollowdell Media on Twitter and Instagram. You can also, if you're really, really nice, please, if you're really very nice.
Oh, yes.
Please could you go on our Patreon at www.patreon.com/HollowdellMedia. And just, if you can throw us just the price of a cup of coffee, it would make the world of difference.
Yes, all of the money goes straight back into our projects, and you'll be helping us with our future escapades, bringing you glorious, glorious movies.
Yes. And also, while you're at it, go and check out our YouTube channel. No one looks at our YouTube channel.
Yeah, look at all of our wonderful work.
Silly, silly films.
Yeah, we have a lot of work.
Yes, and enjoy it all. Enjoy it all, or else.
Inglorious Technicolor.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, God, there's one very important thing missing.
What?
You notice we didn't pick a word for the film next time, because next time is my birthday show.
It's actually coming out on your birthday.
It's actually coming out on my birthday. Last time, Rob was on I think you were on a holiday or something. So I brought in Matt Butler, the drummer from Electric Black, and we talked Transformers the movie.
Nice.
Classic. So next time, I'll pick another of my childhood favourites and we'll watch that.
How exciting.
Yes. Cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You must see a nymphoid barbarian in dinosaur hell. The prehistoric and the prepubescent together at last.